Bob Ray, I'm the director of the film. I wanted to bring up some of the Salt Lake Derby girls up here to help me out with Q&A. Salt City Derby girls. I was like trying to remember right here, you probably see it. I was like, we're on a tour, we're doing like 30 cities, so I apologize again for fucking things up. But thanks to the Salt City Derby girls and to the tower, and to y'all for coming. Did anybody have any questions for? Well, let me say first off, there's a big difference between what you see in the movie. We filmed it a few years ago. One of the major ones is the fighting. So I always tend to mention that because almost nobody, I don't know if anybody really embraces the fighting anymore, but
I'd like to.
I know that
it's right there. There's only one.
I know there are still people that want it, but I think as far as the sport goes, it's pretty much fallen by the wayside. The other thing people usually ask are if the games are rigged, and even from the game one, when you saw that they were trying to orchestrate a fight, they never tried to orchestrate the outcome of the game. And that is a little different from the way that old school derby kind of died down. It kind of got a little contrived and stuff, depending on who you asked, and we asked a lot of people from the old school derby. But if anyone has any questions about what happened in the movie, or what happened since, or a local scene, I think we're well equipped to take that. Yeah, we'll just stand.
Yeah, hi, familiar faces, everybody to reach.
Yeah.
Do you guys fight? No, but we wish we could.
Sometimes.
Meet her in the alleyway.
Yeah. Or just don't piss off that girl in that sisters team sitting in front of you. She keeps getting ejected. I'll piss her off. Don't send her to LA by herself. Yeah.
Can we see your most embarrassing tattoo?
Boyfriend will get mad.
Oh. I have no embarrassing ones, so.
I have a conjunction tattoo with Smack.
I hear. So I hear.
They should show them together.
Yes. That's $5 a size.
I came this close to getting a finger stash at Lower Con.
Oh, you would have been loved here for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I was that close.
Oh, there's a lot of derby.
There was a question over here? I know, that's what I was tempted.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
How did you direct that movie? Like, were you involved with it?
How did you get in on
How do you
all
know
this?
that?
Well, I grew up in Austin and grew up in the sort of music scene there. And actually, I was working with Warner Campbell, who's the producer on this, and we were going to do a documentary about this guy named Hassel Atkins, who's the original one-man band, crazy old bastard.
Yeah.
He's since passed on. We talked to him on the phone a bunch, and he was just too everything we had heard, which was crazy as fuck. And it was clear that it wasn't really going to happen. And he was in Virginia, we were in Texas, and we were going to bring him to Texas for a whole showcase of one-man bands, and he was going to be the headliner, and we were going to make a movie about that. The night that fell apart, we were talking to him on the phone, and it wasn't going to work. So we just went to a bar to watch a band and have some drinks, and we saw some old friends of ours on skates, and we were like, oh yeah, they were trying to do derby here. And by then, Dan had come and gone and had already borrowed money, and it was disappearing. And people were pissed, and a lot of people had walked, and derby itself had a bad name. It hadn't even started yet. It was just having practices. And so we didn't really know all that, but we asked if we could film, and they said that we could. And so we just sort of turned on our cameras. The first day, Sarah Luna, who's in the movie, had her tooth busted out by Nancy, who's one of the CEOs, like just because they didn't have helmets, they didn't have knee pads, like they didn't have anything, they were just out there. But even though it had the bad name, I saw a friend of mine from high school, and she was valedictorian of our graduating class, which had like 1,000 and something people, and she graduated magna cum laude from the University of Texas with a degree in geology and was a state champion handball player. So despite the reputation that Dan had, bruised derby with, once I saw that she was involved, I was like, she's not going to mess with this if this wasn't serious. So we just turned on our cameras, and we thought we would maybe film until they had a game. And then once they had a game, we saw other things happening, and then we thought maybe we'd film through the end of the first season. But by then, the split was starting to take hold, and we were just like, what we thought was our movie is like the first 20 minutes of our movie. So we just had to stick with it. And then thankfully for us, luckily for us, we worked our asses off, but you saw the logos here, and that's a fraction of them now, There's like 515, I think I heard. At the last Q&A we did, someone in the crowd claims 515, something crazy. It just keeps going, it's amazing.
Little did you know what you were recording.
I know, I didn't know it would take 6 years of my life, and I didn't know that it would grow this big. People thought they wouldn't have one single game, and they got to the point that we were filming for years where we had to lie about it. Where, they're like, are you still filming that? You're wasting your time. It's like, oh no, we're done. I'm sure.
LAS.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
This is probably one of the best documentaries I've seen, like, of roller derby, kind of like how it started, and, you know, kind of the evolution of it, the politics of it and everything. Do you guys have any plans of finding a way to get this, like, into the mainstream, like, media to help derby, promote derby?
It's on DVD, which we're selling actually. It was on demand. It was on video on demand for like the last. It might still be. I'm not even sure. It was on for the last few months on like Time Warner, Cox, and like all the big video on demand things. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what else we can do. You know, it still has a sort of rough aesthetic to it. So, but I would love for it. Yes.
What did you think when A&E put out Texas Roller Girls?
I fucking hated it. No, I intentionally did not watch the show. I'm not saying that because, you know, like, I don't watch TV snob or anything, but we were in the middle of editing this, and A&E rolls in, and they're spending like $100,000 on a single episode, and we were scraping up nickels and pennies to fund this. And I didn't want to change course on what we were doing. I didn't want to let what they're doing affect what we were already doing.
So it was at the same time?
They came out before us. We shot we were shooting our last game, and they showed up with cameras. I mean, we knew about it, the Dirty Gals told us about it. They showed up with big ass huge cameras and crews and stuff, and we were just filming just a little bit of stuff to kind of keep up postscript, you know, like what happened, the epilogue sort of thing. And then, yeah, it sucked, you know. And then they asked us for the footage of the cha-cha leg break, you know, which is like, this is pretty good stuff.
Did you give it to him?
No, because I told the producer, I was like, you know, we need at least like $1,500, thinking we're like being kind of greedy, which would be nothing to them. But they were like, no, we can give you credit on our website. Dude, first of all, you come here and totally cockblock us. One. Secondly, you know, $1,500 is a drop in the bucket to them, but would have made a big difference to us. So it was just like, no. And I know people that worked on it. I don't have any ill will towards anything that worked on it. You know, they're filmmakers, they're working, but people that did it, I thought. And it was a production company in Austin that started it. So there's a lot of, I don't want to get into the politics. It sucked. Yeah.
With that being brought up, what do you guys think about the representation of that movie Whip It?
I haven't seen that either, but for different reasons. Just, I know. I need to see it. It's embarrassing when I have to admit that. But, you know, I'd love to hear what they say. Shauna Cross, the writer of that, she's a filmmaker from Austin, a friend of mine, and she was in the LA Derby Dolls, and so I'm not sure the reviews that I read were predominantly really good about it, and I really like Shauna, so, you know, I hope good things for y'all saw it.
I liked Whip It, and part of it that I liked is that it really represented the kind of rebellious feel when you leave your normal life that everyone is used to and you join this thing that nobody really knows about. And that movie really portrayed that really well, so I enjoyed Whip It.
I thought it was nice. It was cute. You know, it was more of a movie than it was about derby.
The Disney version.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and to me, it kind of, I saw it before I started doing derby, and so when I actually joined, it was somewhat of a false interpretation of what we have now. So, you know, it came out recently with derby being the way it is. It's not what I had expected. So I was actually pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as violent as it was portrayed to be. But.
And there's no doubt about it that it raised awareness, like, ridiculously much.
Definitely.
Right, I think the fact that it raises awareness is a good thing, and I wouldn't say that Whip It is more violent than real derby. Real derby is just more real.
Real violence.
You know, like we don't throw the elbows, we don't do the big theatrics. We hit and we hit hard, and when somebody goes down, they really go down. And so that was a lot. That was really, really pretty different. It was kind of the fluff version of derby. We do work really hard, but you also saw that kind of character growth. I mean, I thought I was a strong woman before, and even people that have known me in the past are just like, wow, you're really kind of
Scary.
yeah, you kind of intimidated me before, now you really intimidate me. So
This feels intimidating.
I don't think I am. But there is that definite character development within yourself, and you do become a much, much stronger individual. I think it's something that every woman should do. It's not something every woman can do. So.
And they didn't film it in Austin, they filmed it in Michigan. So.
Right.
Anybody else have that? Chad who's right here, who's the subject of the next movie, which is really fucking funny, so I hope y'all hang out. We've only been on tour, this is day 6, but we have 5 weeks on this, so we're headed counterclockwise all around the west from Austin screen them. And well, we're going to Boise, then Vancouver, then Seattle, Port Orchard, Bellingham, Tacoma, Salem, Portland, Eureka, Chico, 2 nights in San Francisco, El Cerrito, which is north of Berkeley, Sacramento, 3 nights in LA, Arizona, and Las Cruces and Marfa. And we might add a Ventura and a Long Beach down in Southern California.